Hi everybody, this is Ron Chapman Jr. with Games for Life, continuing with a lesson from our Chess 101 series. In this lesson we're just going to look at the Latvian Gambit. And this is an opening, I guess a kind of defense for black, where he plays a little bit unorthodox, but it can work out. These openings that we're going to present are kind of basic. We're not going to get into too much detail. This is more for people who are just interested to know what the opening might look like, and to see if it might be something that they can decide to do more research on later. So we're just going to look at some basic moves, nothing too difficult. Okay, here we go. Okay, pawn to e4 for white, black pawn to e5, knight to f3, pretty basic, and then that's where it starts to get interesting. f5 for black, and this is the beginning. This is how you know that the Latvian Gambit is being played. Okay, bishop to c4, pawn takes on e4, knight takes on e5, queen to g5, d4, queen takes on g2, queen to h5 check, g6, bishop to f7 check, king moves over to d8, bishop takes on g6, queen takes on h1 check, king to e2, and then c6. Okay, again, we're not going to go through the entire game, just a couple moves deep, just to give you kind of a feel for the gambit. And so here is the second possible book opening for the Latvian Gambit and what that looks like. Okay, same thing, e4, e5, knight to f3, f5, bishop to c4, then pawn takes on e4, then knight takes on e5, and this is a little bit different, d5, queen to h5 check, g6, knight takes on g6, pawn takes back on g6, queen takes on g6 check, king to d7, bishop takes on d5, knight to f6, knight to c3, and queen to e7. And there's a little bit of a variation in this one that I'll back up to real quick a couple moves ago. Okay, so in this variation, whoops, sorry, let me go back a little further. Okay, in this variation, queen moves here. Instead, the queen could take the rook, and then it might continue like so. King to f7, queen to d4, bishop to e6, bishop to b3, knight to c6, queen to e3, bishop to h6, f4, and then knight to e7. Okay, so that's the second book opening for the Latvian Gambit. Now we're going to look at the third one. Again, I'm just kind of giving everybody a feel for what this opening looks like. Okay, so we got the basics now. f5 is where it begins. E takes on f5, e4, knight to e5, knight to f6, bishop to e2, d6, bishop to h5 check, king to e7, knight to f7, queen to e8, knight takes on h8, queen takes on h5, queen takes back on h5, and then knight takes back on h5. Okay, again, just seeing if you like it or not. Okay, number 4. So got the basics here again, and then d4 changes it up this time for white. So pawn from f takes on e4, knight takes on e5, knight to f6, bishop to g5, d6, knight to c3, pawn from d takes on e5, pawn takes on e5 again, queen takes on d1 check, rook takes on d1, h6, bishop takes on f6, and then the pawn from g takes on f6. Okay, and this will be the last example we look at, the fifth book possibility. And e4, e5, knight to f3, f5, knight takes on e5, queen to f6, d4, d6, knight to c4, the pawn from f takes on e4, knight to c3, queen to g6, f3, pawn from e takes on f3, queen takes on f3, knight to c6, bishop to d3, and then queen to g4. Okay, those are 5 possible openings for the Latvian Gambit, or 5 possible scenarios for how the Latvian Gambit can look. And if you've seen something that interests you, then maybe you could check out the Latvian Gambit and see if it's one you want to include in your arsenal. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good one.